The Six Nations is finally upon us, and it is really exciting. And what a way to kick off the party for the best annual rugby competition than a good old prediction video. So here we go, my Six Nations 2024 predictions starting right now. Let's get into it. So, in 6th place, I have gone with Italy, unfortunately, again. Last year, Italy came 6th with 0 wins and 5 losses. Now, Italy have looked more exciting over the last few years, but that's mostly because of the talent that has come through, with the likes of Garbisi, Capuzzo, people like that, who are really, some of the best players in the world. The Italian clubs have also seen quite a lot of success, with Benetton currently sitting an astounding 2nd place in the URC with 7 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss from their first 9 games. Zebra also doing well, winning their first game in 18 months back in November. So both Italian clubs are doing well. Now, this all points that Italy are doing well. Why do I think? Well, you look at the national team, you look at the World Cup, for example. It was only a few months ago. I know it feels like an eternity ago. It was only a couple of months ago. Italy, there was good hopes for Italy. Maybe they could cause an upset. They did have France and New Zealand in their group, who we all know how tough they can be. But Italy didn't perform. They got absolutely shredded. They did not do well at all. New Zealand put 96 points on them. Now, I know that's the All Blacks, who are one of the best teams in the world. They did make the final, but still, 96 points. They also shifted 60 points to France and ran pretty close. There was a moment in the time that you thought Uruguay could have beaten them. They did not have a good World Cup whatsoever, Italy. Now, I think they might improve a bit. They might cause an upset. Another thing to notice, they have had quite a major coaching change since the World Cup. And it'll just take time for things to settle. You look at teams like England and Wales, who have both changed their coaching setup about a year ago, and you saw them with their coaches first kind of Six Nations. Neither of them were that great. They are starting to settle now. I will get onto them a bit later, but yeah, unfortunately, again, I cannot see Italy winning any of the games. I hope they can prove me wrong. I'd love them to be competitive. Just Italy, please don't beat Scotland. That's all I am asking. So yeah, that's me. 6th is Italy. The next team, in 5th place, I have gone with Wales. Again, they haven't moved from last year. They came 5th, winning 1, losing 4 last year. Personally, I do feel quite bad for the Welsh. It feels like nothing's going right for them at the moment. All the controversies with the board, all that stuff. Many top players either retiring or moving away and not being able to play for them anymore. And then injuries to some of the new up and coming players like Jack Morgan, who's been looking really good, and a lot have said he's a future captain, and he still should be. I think he is still a brilliant player, but unfortunately for Wales, he is injured for this not World Cup, Six Nations. Yeah, it's not good. Their clubs this season as well haven't been that great. Not just this season. None of them have made the playoffs in the last in the URC in the first 2 seasons of it, and it's looking fairly unlikely they will this season as well, to be honest. There's still a chance, it is still quite tight. Ospreys and Cardiffs especially are in that race, but you look at some of the other teams in that race and go, they shouldn't lose to them. The likes of Munster and Connacht, who are currently outside, they shouldn't lose to them really. But you never know. I suppose they are in that race, and it's rugby. You can't predict anything. I like predicting things, but yeah, I feel like Wales do have a bit of a fight in them though. You look at some of their players, the likes of Lewis Rees-Zammit, Josh Adams. They can cause damage. They can. I can see them. You give them a chance, they will score. Wales, yeah, quarterfinals of the World Cup, not too bad. They did lose to Argentina, which, isn't too bad. Argentina are a solid team. They did come fourth in the World Cup, which isn't bad at all. But I feel like the other four teams are just better than them at the minute. Again, I can see them causing an upset. Scotland go to Cardiff. They could do it. I'm not going to say no, Scotland don't do well in Cardiff, so maybe, but you've got to favour the other four teams against them. In fourth place, again, not moving from last year, I have gone with England. Now, England, again, came fourth, as I said. They got 2 wins, 3 losses. England are a tough team to judge at the moment. They just came third in one of the most competitive World Cups we've ever seen. But, I don't need to reiterate it. All the draw stuff, I feel like that's not quite a true reflection of where they are. Not to take away the achievement, it's still an amazing achievement, don't get me wrong. I would happily take third in a World Cup. But, I still think they are better. England do look like they're improving. In what they would class as a poor tournament last season, it was Borthwick's first proper time, Borthwick's first tournament as a coach. They just didn't quite seem there. They looked better at the end of the year in the World Cup and that. They've also suffered some losses to big players such as Owen Farrell and Johnny May. But some exciting young players like Freddie Stewart and Marcus Smith seem to be able to come in and fill those roles perfectly fine. So I suppose it's natural progression for them. Some of the older players who are legends. Owen Farrell hasn't retired; he's just taken a break. Johnny May has retired, but some of the older players, coming out, and then they've got younger people coming in to take their place. It's the natural progression of the game, but it's still you do need a bit of time. England's issue though, and I'm not saying this is unsolvable, is the lack of points conversion. They struggled to score tries in the World Cup. You look at the first game against Argentina, they didn't actually score a try. They relied heavily on the boot of George Ford and Owen Farrell. And with Owen Farrell going, and it looks like Marcus Smith will probably be their main 10, I think they'll struggle to keep up with the 3 teams ahead of them because of this. Now again, it is an issue that can be sorted, but it is quite a big issue. If you can't score points, you don't win games. It's simple as that. And yeah, I think they'll get away with it in a couple of the games. Italy and Wales especially, they should be able to get away with it. But when they face, especially Ireland and France, and probably Scotland at Murrayfield, those teams will be up for. Those teams will probably score quite a few. And if England can't keep up with that, they're going to fall behind. So that's my justification for it. Coming in at third place might be a bit controversial, with about 10% of you saying you can see them winning this tournament. Last year's runner-up, I've gone with Le Bleu, France. France came second last year, as I just said, 4 wins, 1 loss. France will feel hard done by in the World Cup. All that hope and thought that they could go on and win it. I myself predicted France to win it, only to crash out in a very dramatic style to a very, very good South Africa side. France will look to try and get a good Six Nations to kind of make up for it. You could see it. They're all disappointed. They're all. I would be too. Don't take away from South Africa for beating them. South Africa are incredible. They always are. But France were hoping to go on and do better. And with top players like Damien Penaud, who averaged a try every 68 minutes of game time throughout the whole of 2023, that's averaging more than 1 try a game. Only one man who played a majority of games had a better strike rate, and I'll get to him in a minute. France are also going to lose several players like Antoine Dupont, who is a huge player. I still think he's the best 9 in the world, as he made the switch to 7s to play in the Olympic Games in Paris. France will want to put on a good show though, but their first 2 games are their 2 hardest games. They've got home to Ireland, and then they're away at Murrayfield, where France don't do well. I can see France losing their first 2 games. Ireland at home, Scotland away. If they lose their first 2 games, then who knows? If you lose 2 games, you're probably going to come third anyway. However, it could be the flip. They could win those 2 games and be able to just ride it out the rest. England at home, and then Wales and Italy. I'm not 100% sure where they're playing. But yeah, nothing against France. I think France are really, really good. I think with the situation, with Ireland and then Scotland one week after another, I can see them losing both those games. In second place, a team that about 20% of you said you can see going on to win it, it's Scotland. Scotland came third last year with 3 wins and 2 losses, and despite a poor World Cup, Scotland are in a good place. They have shown that they can have it in them to push the bigger teams, apart from Ireland. With up and coming players like Andy Christie and the try machine of 2023 averaging 1 try every 61 minutes of game time, Johnny Bleepin Matthews, they are probably the team to watch. I know you'll probably disagree with me with Scotland coming second, but again, as I said, I can see them winning all their games, bar the Dublin visit. They're away to Wales, home to France, home to England, away to Italy. I can see them winning all those games. Then it's a slam decider in Dublin, which I don't think they'll win, but this is of course granted that Scotland don't pull a Scotland and blow it away, which we all know they have it very much in their capabilities to do. Scotland, we all know how dangerous they are. Look at players like Darcy Graham and Duhan van der Merwe. They all can give them a sniff and they will go the length of the field, as they have proven time and time again. Just look at Van der Merwe's try last year against England. Both of them. Scotland's main downside though, again, many years of going over this, is their discipline. Scotland, if they can keep the penalty count against them low, they will push hard. I can see them doing it, but again, I don't like the look of that Dublin game. As a Scotland fan, I don't like the look of it. And to be honest with you, that's credit to Ireland. That is, but I can see Scotland coming in second. I don't know if I'm just being deluded here, but I can see Scotland winning 4 of their games. Quite simply, to be honest. Quite simply. We then move to the only team left to talk about, the team who I think will win the Guinness Six Nations 2024, Ireland. They got the slam last year. I can see them pulling a slam again, to be honest. They are still the team to beat in World Rugby, I feel. They lost narrowly in the World Cup to New Zealand, and they will want a big Six Nations to reinstate their status as the best team in the world at the minute. They have lost a few players like Johnny Sexton, but you look at some of the players coming through like Carberry and Burns have all looked pretty solid this season. Ireland's biggest test will probably be in round 1 against Paris. I think if they can topple France in Paris, they will quite easily cruise through the rest of the teams, to be brutally honest with you. They're just that much better at the minute. I know I said Scotland in second, but Ireland seem to have Scotland's number in the minute. At Dublin, I don't see them having many problems. And England, Wales and Italy, I don't think they're at the level to really touch Ireland at the minute. I don't think many teams are. You know, I think it took New Zealand getting, it took a top class New Zealand performance to top them. New Zealand, who I still think are the biggest and best team ever in World Rugby, is still New Zealand. I know South Africa has won more World Cups, but World Cup's only been going on 40 years. Rugby's been going on for about 150. It took one of them to topple Ireland. I still think Ireland are the best team in the world, and I think again it will show. I think we'll probably see another slam by Ireland. But that's us. That's my predictions. So 6 Italy, 5 Wales, 4 England, 3 France, 2 Scotland, 1 Ireland. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you agree, disagree. Maybe you think Italy's going to win it, England's going to win it, Scotland's going to come bottom. Let me know. It'd be great to hear you. And thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe. We just hit 150. I can't believe it. Let's keep going. And until next time, I shall see you absolute legends later.